It's hot, like really hot today. But I hope you are all doing well. Last time we saw a bit of Hanoi and drove to north, and I promised you a beautiful waterfall. In today's video, the north really pays off. The waterfall, a cave with a river running through it, a national park that feels like Avatar, and then the Ninh Binh region with lots of amazing places. So let's get into it. Cheers! So the next morning after the breakfast, the drone went up again, because this place was just incredible. While we waited for our driver, I even made friends with a water buffalo. I always thought they were aggressive animals. Turns out, not at all. Then we drove to the real highlight of the north, the Ban Gioc waterfall. Many people think it's the most beautiful waterfall in all of Vietnam. And here's the wild part, the one I showed you at the start. One half belongs to Vietnam and the other half belongs already to China. We took a boat right up close to it, and on the way back, for a short moment, we passed the Chinese side. So I guess I've technically been to China now. Ban Gioc, by the way, isn't a single waterfall. It's a system of water walls crashing down next to each other, about 30 meters high and several hundred meters wide. One of the biggest natural waterfalls in Southeast Asia. This is where we got that feeling. Okay, this is what we flew halfway around the world for. Right nearby is a huge cave called Nguom Ngao, or something like this. So it's worth combining the two. Its name roughly means Cave of the Tigers. Legend says tigers used to live in it. The limestone system is several kilometers long, full of giant dripstones and strange rock formations, and the Vietnamese love naming them. So the guide points and says, that's one a dragon, that's one a lotus, and that's one an elephant. Sometimes you really see it, but sometimes you need a very wide imagination. Inside it's surprisingly cool, which feels amazing after the humid jungle heat outside. And the best part, no disco lights like in so many European caves, just natural warm white light. From here we headed to Bai Dinh National Park, where we had spent the night. On the way we stopped next to a rice field for a break and out came the drone again. Pure luck, but we had stopped exactly the right spot, and I got some of my favorite shots the whole trip from up there. The park itself is a huge connected lake system, one of the biggest natural lakes in Vietnam. Ba Be actually means 3 lakes. Before sunset I flew the drone here too, and after seeing the footage I couldn't wait to get on the water the next day. The next morning our boat arrived just after 8 and we started the day on the water. And this place is insanely beautiful. Mystical, quiet, sometimes it honestly made me think of the movie Avatar. The scenery would fit right into that movie. We didn't just sit in the boat, we landed on a small island for a short walk, then kept going. And then came the highlight of the day for me, the Puong Cave. Because here the river actually flows straight through a giant cave. It's about 300 meters long, up to 30 meters high, full of dripstone formations and home of one of the biggest bat population in the country. You go through it by boat, which gives the whole thing a nice Indiana Jones feeling. The locals don't like going in, because of the bats. A lot of Vietnamese are generally scared of them, so let's just say our guide's pretty nervous behavior was extra funny to me. But we explored it anyway. After the cave it was time to head back to Hanoi. About 6 hours of driving. But we made one more great stop. For a lunch at a place that wasn't just a restaurant, but basically a pho school. We took a short class, learned how it's really made, and then cooked our own. And the pho deserves a respect. A good broth is simmered for 8 to 12 hours, with bones, ginger, star anise, cinnamon and cloves. That's what makes it light and yet so deep in flavor. It comes from right here in northern Vietnam, And the locals can have surprisingly serious debates about the northern versus the southern version. It's eaten for breakfast, lunch and dinner, so basically the ultimate always works dish. Just before sunset we made it back to Hanoi, to the same hotel as before. And we had one mission left for that night, to find the birthplace of the famous egg coffee. Yes, coffee with egg yolk. It was invented here in Hanoi in the 1940s, when milk was scarce and the bartender tried replacing it with egg yolk. Now, finding a coffee isn't hard, right? Wrong. Google Maps sent us to a big busy intersection. No sign, no hint, nothing. We walked around the block and still nothing. Then we went to the exact spot Google pointed to, and there was a tailor shop. So I went in and asked. And it turns out the entrance to the cafe runs straight through the tailor shop, down a hallway and 3 floors up. And up there was a quiet terrace, with a view over the city and the lake. The egg coffee arrived and it was surprisingly good. And I say that as someone who doesn't even like coffee. The next day, not long after breakfast, we set off again, this time on a day trip to explore the Ninh Binh region. Our VIP tour bus for 9 people arrived right on time, and since we were the first ones picked up, we drove around to collect the others first. A quick word on the VIP buses, by the way. They basically ride VIP on every single bus. Our first stop was part of the famous Bai Dinh pagoda complex, and it holds a giant bronze bell. We are talking about 36 tons. When you think about it, moving that kind of weight isn't easy even today, so I can hardly imagine how they did it many years ago. Next was Chùa Bai Dinh, the biggest Buddhist temple complex in all of Vietnam, and one of its most important religious centers. The place has 2 parts: the old Bai Dinh Pagoda, a several hundred years old temple system on the mountainside with caves and shrines, and the new, much bigger complex next to it. The last building we visited was kind of a spiritual mega project. And here's something typical for temples like this. They have 3 doors. Beside the rule that your knees and shoulders have to be covered and that you take off your shoes, there is one very important thing. Of the 3 doors, the middle one is only for gods. So walk through it seems a serious offense. You go in on the right and out on the left. A pretty simple rule. And yet a lot of people just follow the crowd and walk straight through the middle. After the complex, we drove to Trang An, and this is one of the most extraordinary natural and cultural sites in all of northern Vietnam. You could call it the little brother of Halong Bay, the one all the tourists visit, except it's not small at all. There are just far fewer tourists, and instead of big ships, you ride a small boat. Trang An was added to the UNESCO World Heritage List in 2014. And here's the rare part. It went on as both a natural and a cultural site at the same time, because it's not just the landscape that's stunning, the archaeological and historical importance of the area is outstanding too. The boat ride takes you between towering karst mountains through caves that get lower and lower. At some points you have to duck right down. It honestly feels like gliding through a movie. The highlight of the day for me was Hang Mua. Hang Mua is one of the most famous viewpoints in Ninh Binh, and probably the place most people have seen on Instagram without even knowing its name. The name roughly means dancing cave, but most people don't come for the cave, they come for the breathtaking panorama. From the top of Hang Mua, you get one of the most famous views in all of Vietnam. A winding river between rice fields, steep karst mountains, the Tam Quoc Valley, and endless green in every direction. It's that classic postcard view, that one that makes so many people put Ninh Binh on their route in the first place. To get up here, you climb a few hundred steep stone steps, carved into the mountainside. And after all the climbing we had already done on this trip, my legs were not exactly thanking me. But the moment we reached the top, all that was forgotten, because the view in front of us was simply unreal. And that was Central Vietnam. A waterfall shared with China, a cave with a river running through it, a national park that felt like Avatar. And to finish, that unreal view over Ninh Binh, right before the end of the day. We came to Vietnam expecting a beach replacement. Instead, the north gave us mountains, history, and some of the best food and some of the best views of the entire trip. But our time in the north was over, because next we had to take a 13-hour train ride south into the center of the country to start a completely new chapter. A drive over one of Vietnam's most famous mountain passes, a giant Buddha carved into a cave, and a dragon that breathes fire. That's the next video. So if you're enjoying this series, subscribe so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in Central Vietnam. Peace.